brachioradialis, bend your elbow. See that, because I want to find the brachioradialis, the elbow is, or the forearm is in the intermediate position. Here, okay, so I find the brachioradialis, and I can find also the shaft of the ulna, right? Which we already did earlier. So anything that is between the shaft of the ulna to where the brachioradialis border is, that's all the extensor muscles, okay? So now that I know where they are, I'm gonna try to find first the extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis, because they go from the lateral epicondyle to the base of the second, the longus, and the base of the third, the brevis. Second and third metacarpal bones here. Okay, so if I palpate here and I bring the wrist into extension, and he does extension, push into my hand, I should be able to feel that tissue contracting. But the best way to isolate only those two extensor muscles is going to be with radial deviation, or abduction. So I can ask him to push into my hand into this direction. Okay, push into my hand, push. And I can feel all that tissue becoming, tight, okay? And you can follow until those tendons over here where they insert at the base of the second and third, okay? So now, how do I shorten this muscle? No, I'm gonna go over that later. Okay, I'm gonna go over the next one is going to be the extensor digitorum, also coming from the lateral epicondyle here. And this is almost kind of this middle layer. And if I ask him to wiggle the fingers, I should be able to feel, and you guys can see all this muscle contracting over here, okay? So this is one of the easiest to find, because he's kind of typing here, and I can see and feel the muscles activating. At this point here, it becomes just tendons, okay? So now the extensor carpi ulnaris, which also comes from the same spot, is just gonna come and insert at the base of the fifth metacarpal over here. So when I ask him to do extension, again, all the muscles will activate, but the best way to isolate it is going to be with ulnar deviation, or what we call also adduction, right? ADD. So let me find here one more time the lateral epicondyle, and I'm gonna ask him to push into my hand. And all this tissue that you guys can see being tight, that is essentially that muscle. And at this point, it's just tendon. It comes over here and it inserts on the base of the fifth metacarpal bone here, okay? Another way to find that muscle is gonna be finding the shaft of the ulna. And if you roll your fingers from the shaft of the ulna more laterally, in this case, okay, that's where that muscle should be located. Again, I can ask him to do ulnar deviation. And you guys can see over here the, like the muscle bulk. Relax. And you guys will see how it activates here. Push. You see that, right?
Sorry, do it again.
Relax and push. And relax and push. So that will be your extensor carpi ulnaris. So how do I shorten these muscles? With, in case the extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis, I'm gonna shorten this muscle with extension and radial deviation, right? Or abduction. And I'm gonna lengthen that muscle with the opposite, elbow extension, wrist flexion, and ulnar deviation at the same time, or adduction in this case. This is a great exercise for your patient with lateral epicondylitis to stretch these muscles. Now, the extensor carpi ulnaris, how do I shorten it? With extension and ulnar deviation. And how do I lengthen it? I'm gonna lengthen that muscle with elbow extension, wrist flexion and radial deviation, the opposite, right? And he should feel a little stretch here. Do you feel a little stretch?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's to stretch those muscles. Again, you know, those are great stretches for your patients with lateral epicondylitis, because everybody that has a tennis elbow, all these muscles are the ones that are affected. All those muscles that insert here in the lateral epicondyle. Okay? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's go practice that.